Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Wanda. Let's try that again.
Edit.
Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Wanda. She is a Thinkfluencer, a brand and business builder, a TEDx and international speaker, and a best-selling author. Welcome, Wanda. It is such a pleasure to have you here. We've been trying for quite a while to get this done, so it's nice to finally connect with you and have you here. How you doing? How you feeling today?
I feel great. I feel absolutely great. I'm wearing my sunshine colors.
Beautiful. We are shining bright today. Yeah. The sun is shining today, so it's a beautiful day. So with all of that being said, let's jump in and start sharing about the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do and a bit about your story and your journey. Now, I have to say, I love the term you've coined for yourself, Thinkfluencer. What is your definition of a Thinkfluencer, and how did you create or come up with that name?
So it was actually a term that someone else used to describe me. And I was like, okay, that's really good.
I like that.
I like that. I think I'm going to adopt that. But since then, I've been using it a fair bit just as people are starting to use it more as a reference to me. But I thought I'm just going to put it out there front and center because it seems to be something that's catching on. And for me, my dream is to make us as a world better thinkers, smarter thinkers, and make decisions swiftly and make smart decisions. So I'm all about spreading the joy of thinking and thinking through things. And I just think that the world would be in a much better place if we hadn't. So I talk about it, I write about it, I teach about it, everything. So I embody it. It's just a passion of mine. It's something that I hope I do forever.
I love it. I love that term.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
It's really cool. And it does describe you perfectly.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
What drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
I'm a super positive, super strong person. I can say that about myself, but it took me a long time to be able to actually admit that. Can I say that about myself? So yeah, you actually can. Everybody else doesn't have to say it. You can say it. But for me, what drives me to keep going? I absolutely love other people's success. And it doesn't have to be just business success. It can be personal success. I love to see people happy. I love to hear their journey. I love living vicariously through them. Some of the not so good stuff too. But yeah, I have just gotten such an appreciation for the way people think and behave and what those insights lead us to do, believe and do. That's what keeps me going when I feel like I can have an impact based on what I've learned from other people. And so I'm so grateful for every conversation that I've had and for every experience that I've had. I guess that's probably in a nutshell, that's what I would say.
Yeah. And that's really what it's about, is the impact, right? So can you share with us what you were doing for a living before you made the jump into entrepreneurship, and what was the catalyst for that shift for you?
So I started off my career in the corporate world. I had worked at P&G. I had worked at Kellogg's and then at RBC as a director. And I was pregnant with my third child. And I was on a very fast track career. And then I just realized that if I'm not excited about going back to something in terms of work, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to leave my children to go do something I'm not excited about. That's just, why would I do that? Yeah. So I had always wanted to go out on my own, and an ex-boss of mine called me because she needed help. And then since then, it's been like 20 years plus of just people calling me, 100% referral.
Not even have to look for work. I love it.
No, it didn't really have to look for work, which is a nice position to be in.
For sure.
And then, so that was almost like a hybrid, like the freelance consulting thing was a hybrid. It was my own business. I started Active Ingredients, which is the company, but it came at a point in 2019 where I said, I got to decide whether I'm going to make this go big like an agency or if I want to shift and go completely real entrepreneurial, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And I made the shift to go real because I was just not interested in building an agency. Part of the thing with me is that I get bored really quickly. So I felt like I was starting to see the same problems and projects come up. And the other thing that was really an eye opener for me is that there are so many people in the working world, at least, that are brilliantly solving the wrong problems. And it was shocking, actually. And it's funny, but it's shocking at the same time. And I was like, okay, I got to do something that helps that. We got to stop doing that because the world would be in a very different place if we could stop doing that, even if more people can stop doing that. So that's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole thinking thing comes into play, Thinkfluencer thing. So, I mean, I have a very, very strong marketing strategy, innovation background, and also working with multinationals to multimillion and entrepreneurs and agencies and in all different industries. So whether it's oil and gas or whether it's CPG or whatever it might be, it's been quite a ride. And
I've heard you mention a couple times before about what you just said about people solving the wrong problems. What do you mean by that? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think what happens is, and I talked a little bit about this on a TEDx talk that I did. What happens is people get fixated on a problem and solving a problem, or they're told, solve this problem, but they're not really solving for an outcome. That's the issue. When you solve for a problem, you become fixated on that problem. It's just part of human nature. We all go through it and you get almost consumed by it. And then you hit something called cognitive rigidity. And when you hit cognitive rigidity, all the new information coming in, you don't accept it. You're not welcoming it because you're so fixated on the problem. But if you flip that to say, solve for the outcome, you will get a very different set of actions and problems to solve and people to talk to and so on and so on. So it's a complete shift in mindset, but it's not difficult. It's just you have to remind yourself to do that every time. And the other thing is, the one big thing with being an entrepreneur is that when you go from sort of a corporate business, typical consulting world, whatever that is for you, and all of a sudden you shift to entrepreneurship, here, everybody's telling you what to do. You get out into entrepreneurship and there's nobody telling you what to to do. So you're like,
you got to figure it out.
But that's where you got to use your brain to think through things, right? What outcome do I want? So therefore, what actions, what actions do I have to take? What do I have to learn? Who do I have to talk to? How do the problems all fit together? How many problems are there? If you're solving for a problem, it's like, how do you know it's the right problem? How do you know it's the only one? How do you know it doesn't interact with something else? How do you know, meaning have a domino effect? And the best one is, have you actually created the problem? There's a lot of times we go out there and we're like, the problem doesn't even exist, but we're trying to solve something.
We created it.
Yeah, because we created it. And I always joke around that, like, my mother-in-law loves to do that, but it's true of any of us, right?
We all.
She's adorable. Sure. There's nothing that I can say negative about her, but it's just one of those things where you just kind of go, what? And you don't understand it because I don't think that's really a problem.
It's the problem I created up here.
The problem that's the most difficult, I think, is the one that you don't see, is the one that you're not aware exists. You're trying to fight you're blindly fighting a very formidable foe. Yeah. And what do you do in cases like that? And that to me is the toughest, and it happens all the time. It's funny because I was just in a really tough medical situation. And so I have breast cancer diagnosed last year, went through surgery, went through chemo. Chemo was a big decision for me. I didn't want to have any regrets. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And February 2nd was my last chemo. February 14th, I wake up with a really bad toothache. So I know I'm getting an infection, which means a fever. And if you're going to get a fever and you're on chemo, You got to get to the ER right away. So did that and waited for 7.5 hours to see someone, could barely breathe. And so it was really tough. I ended up going into a coma. I have no memories of being admitted. I was giving consents like
Wow.
they were going out of style, man. I was like, you want me to let you do this? You want me to let you do that?
Sure.
Yeah, no problem. But I say this all the time. I got to the ER. When they actually saw me, I was seen by the head of the ER department, and a really great guy. And the next thing I know, like 10 seconds later, it was like faster than greased lightning, man. Because like people just flew in with all kinds of stuff. There was a bed, starting to get undressed. There was I was with IVs and antibiotics, and, like my vitals, etc. So it was just crazy. And then anyway, so I was admitted, but the last thing that I remember is them trying to put an oxygen mask on me that was too tight. And I freaked out, threw it off. And the next thing I knew, I had woken up out of ICU.
Wow.
I had actually been admitted, had been there a few days. I had people visiting me, like families and friends and stuff. No recollection of anything. I've just totally forgotten. And even now, like we were going out for my daughter's birthday, and she said she wanted to go to the same place that we went last year. And I couldn't remember what we did last year. I couldn't remember, where we were, and slowly things might be coming back. So we went to the same restaurant. And said, did we sit over there? Slowly, just you need the stimulation. Yeah. But yeah, so it was quite a journey. Intense. And I was in the hospital for about 2 months. Yeah. Crazy.
I'm just happy you're here. We're doing the interview. You're feeling good. That's a good thing.
So I feel good.
I'm really happy to hear that you've come back and you're feeling better, and now it's onward. I know you were saying before we jumped on air that you still have a long road to go, but at least you're taking the steps and going through it. So
and Brad, I can tell you, thank you. I had the most amazing trip. I actually was like, man, I love general anesthesia. Oh, let's hit me. I love that stuff. And
give me more.
Yeah. And the trip that I was on, I was like flying through dimensions. I was like Superman.
Yeah.
I can still feel the wind on my face from that experience. I was going places that I never thought of and never expected. And I have to tell you, there were a lot of eye-opening moments.
Yeah.
A lot of things that came out for me afterwards. And I actually took a lot of notes or just wrote down my memories or thoughts.
Yeah.
Because your memory, what you remember changes, right? So if you don't do it right at that time, it's to pull it all together later.
That's really cool that you have that to go back and read and reflect on later at any time.
It was pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How has your role as a Thinkfluencer influenced your personal growth and understanding of you?
Oh, I think it's done so tremendously. I study it in terms of the newer research, or if you look at people who are influencing the way we think, what is it about what they say that makes a difference? And it's funny because most of it is really simple. And I actually, one of the things that I do, and this is my next book that's coming out, is a book called Might, M-I-G-H-T. And it has a double entendre, might as in power, so the power to solve the impossible, or might as in possibility, how might we solve this? So where do you go when nothing seems to work or you don't know where to begin? So it's about a process that will help you get to where you need to go. But a lot of that came from my own personal work experience and life experience. But it's also, some of it came from observing and learning from other people when they're able to do it. My definition of intelligence is probably not the same as everybody else's, because we all have our own interpretation. But when somebody can make me think of things very differently than I would normally, that to me is amazing. That's just an amazing mind. And that can come from a kid or from a 90-year-old grandpa.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I think things have changed a lot. I'm a deep thinker to begin with. I think about things quite seriously, I would say, but not from a negative standpoint. I just mean that your thoughts mean something. And I think that they have the ability to influence so much more than we think they do. I mean, I think about the experience that I just went through.
Yeah.
I'm still deliriously excited about the future. I think that,
And that's the thing.
because I see possibility. I recognize that my work is not done. That's why I'm here today. That's why we're all here today.
You have much work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing to
It is, for
in that
sure.
position, concentrate on and let that sink in a little bit.
I will.
I didn't mean that as a directive. I meant I just let that sink in.
No. Vandana, what is the core message or philosophy you aim to convey through your work, and why is it personally important to you?
I think, as I said before, I think we need to become better thinkers, swifter and better decision makers. And everybody says it. Everybody says think differently. What the heck does that mean? Nobody knows what that means. It's so ambiguous, right? It's not live a life of purpose. What the heck does that mean? What do you want to do exactly? Be more specific. Right. So I think the more specific we can be, the more we'll get done. And it's not just about getting stuff done, but it's the meaningful stuff that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the core message is really about using your mind, using your brain to get through anything that is important. I think the world would just be in a different place if we were. But if
we all used our heads, there's a lot of people who don't think.
Yeah. I mean, look at the mess that we're in.
Yeah. The world is a mess right now.
Yeah, the world is a mess. And I was talking to my daughter about this last night too, one of my kids, and it's really hard to picture bringing a child into this world because it's such a mess. But the reality is there's always going to be a mess. There's always going to be something. I mean, the other wars were not any less important or less striking than what we're facing today. What amazes me is we're all one.
That's right.
Why can't we just be good to each other all the time?
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
It's true. But it's true though. It is absolutely true. I don't know. I like to believe that with the darkness out there that's going on in the world right now. And again, of course, media amplifies it, makes it seem and sound a lot worse than it actually is, I think. But I always want to believe and do believe that the light will always triumph over the darkness. There's more good in the world than there is bad. I believe that with all of my heart and soul. I really do. And I think we just have to keep that front of mind and remember that and continue to bring people in to our spheres, surround ourselves with those like-minded people, because that will help keep the vibration elevated. And we need to stay in that vibration. And that's not to say be an ostrich and hide your head in the sand and ignore everything that's going on. But don't get pulled down into it or sucked down into it or mired in that shit. It's there. It's, as you said, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But remember that there's all this good out here too, and that there are, in my opinion, way more good people out there who are doing good than there are the darkness, in my opinion.
We must all be Jedis.
Yes, that's right.
Because you don't want to be on the dark side.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Have there been any significant shifts in your perspectives or beliefs since you started this journey? And what prompted those changes?
The one big thing that happened for me is I realized the potential of women more than I ever did before. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm launching a posse of bad bitches doing great work. And anybody who wants to join is welcome to be part of it. But there's a really specific reason why I pick women. So statistically, we all understand, that whatever the numbers say, we don't get as much funding. Yeah. We don't get as many jobs and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things about the research that is suspect, and I could argue another way, but let's just assume the stats are true. A lot of the stats are true. Yeah. And so I think about that. I think about how the evolution of the woman and how it's changed over time. I think that we are the most underutilized resource in the world. And why are we not doing something more? And then I have a personal story that really influenced me. So two of my older children, the eldest children, were very similar in terms of intellectual ability or capacity even.
Yeah.
And they were in school together, but my son at the age of 6 started to have behavioral issues. And we tried public, private, we tried hybrid, we tried everything. Private he was great with because they would just keep putting him ahead grades, but he started to have behavioral issues. We had he was like testing at like math at like high school level when he was 6, and reading comprehension was like university level. Yeah. So it was crazy, but he still had behavioral issues. And he didn't go to school. People looked at him funny. He did everything in his head. People thought he was like some sort of weirdo, all this kind of stuff. And it was really hard. So we decided to get them tested. His teacher was actually saying, get him tested and get him to this school that he ended up going to, but in his later years. But we got him tested, and this psychologist is top of the field.
Yeah.
So the psychologist is top of the field, but he said to us, I can count on one hand kids as bright as yours. And we were like, you must have looked at the wrong tests, because it's like, there's no way that's true. Anyway, it was just a shock. And we were like, after we realized and stopped laughing that he was actually serious. And he said we were like, okay. He said, so now what are you going to do for your son? Because he was the issue. Said, we're going to get him into the program. It's the best thing will happen. We got a piece of paper that says we got to fast track him. Da 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 da. So we're going to get him into that program.
Yeah.
Do everything we can. So what are you going to do about your daughter? I said, you know what? She's amazing. She's always happy. She makes things work. She's always got friends. She's always laughing and smiling. She's doing really well in school. Couldn't ask for anything more. And why rock the boat if nothing is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And he says to me, that's exactly why you need to push for her, because this is what happens to women all the time, is that, and women and girls, is that they get left behind because nobody pushes for them because they make it work.
That's profound.
Yeah. That was a really profound statement. And I felt like it was a good slap in the face. Kind of been in my subconscious for a long time. And I thought, I really got to do something about this. So that's one of the reasons I'm launching the posse, is to make sure that women's, whatever their endeavors are, it could be business or an entrepreneurship, or it could be something that's a passion of theirs that they want to grow to help women in the Karen Hill tribe or something, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not only do I want to grow whatever they're working on, like their endeavors, but I also want to grow the woman behind it. And
there you go.
When we do that, I think we all grow together, right?
Yes, for sure.
It's going to be so phenomenal when it actually kicks in, which will be very soon. But we're just going through some strategic planning right now.
If we gave more women support, because women, they're the backbone of society. They give birth, they give life. So if we supported more women, think of the ripple effect of that, because when we support women, they become more empowered, better mothers, better friends, better wives, better girlfriends, whatever it is. They become better and stronger and have more influence. And it just ripples out through community, society, and the world. So if we did that, we are making the world a better place. We need to do that as a human race. We need to come together as human beings. Not men versus women or masculine versus, let's just come together as human beings and work together. Men have different skill sets. Women have different skill sets. If we come together and apply all of that, how much fucking better will this world be if we give women the support that they deserve and need? It is going to send the world on a totally different trajectory.
I completely
believe that 100%.
And that's why when that realization came to me, I was thinking like, I got to do something about this. I want us to.
And here you are.
Yeah. And here I am. And I'm actually working on it and doing it. And I'm deliriously excited about it. So,
beautiful. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What long-term impact or legacy do you hope to leave as a Thinkfluencer? And what long-term goals are you working towards besides the posse for women?
Yeah. So to me, by the time I leave this earth, I want to leave it in a better place than where I entered it, when I entered it. That's for sure. I would like to, it's a hard question because there's so many thoughts that go through my head, both from a personal level and a family level, but also a business level and a thought leadership perspective. But I feel like a bit of a broken record, but I just want us to be smarter at thinking through things and not just jump at things. Hey, there's a problem. Okay, let's fix it. I mean, think about even moms, right? Yeah. Your child skins a knee and you run to go fix the problem, right? Sometimes it's better just to leave them alone and they learn more through that. Or kids are having a fight and you go try to break it up. I mean, I'm just giving you little examples, but it happens all the time where we just jump. Sure. And I want us to stop jumping at things that we see right off the bat. Just pause. I'm not talking about if your child is getting attacked by an alligator, you should just pause. But I'm like, and that has happened. But really, this like we create more problems than there even are.
For sure.
So that's kind of, it's all about learning.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I have to tell you, there's an equation that I came up with, and I just have to share it with you.
Uh-huh.
I post on LinkedIn a fair bit, so it's in there too. But people always have this like great intention, but they never act on it. So intention without action is nothing. Action without the right direction is nothing. But when you have intention, action, and the right direction, it equals acceleration. You move through things a lot faster when you have all three of those. If you're in a situation where it's like a knee-jerk reaction to jump and behave a certain way, just give it a pause and think about, okay, what is the actual intention and how can I be deliberate about it? And what actions do I have to take? Sometimes you don't know. So you have to stop and think about that.
Pause for thought. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. My little
beautiful equation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, what was the inspiration for your initial interest in business and brand building, and why you turned that into a business?
So when I was living in the US, I went to Duke. I was in North Carolina at the time, ended up meeting my husband at a get-together that happened in New Jersey. We got married 6 months later, and I moved up to Canada. Excuse me, I've still got the cough happening. We moved up to Canada, or I moved up to Canada, Toronto, and phenomenal city. And what was the question again? By the way, right now,
that's
it's
okay.
Like, when I get excited about something and start talking, it's what the heck was I trying to get to?
What was the inspiration for your initial interest in business and brand building, and why you turned it into a business?
So when I moved to Canada, I interviewed at Procter Gamble because they were the only ones that really would consider me because I didn't have a business degree. So they were much more open-minded at the time. And I went to a career fair through another university. Wasn't allowed, but I went anyway. And I met with them, and 2 weeks later I was working. And one of the nicest things that happened was they offered me the opportunity to work in either brand management or research. And I love research. So I interviewed in both places, and I chose brand management because I just thought it's the creativity and the fruits of what you're doing will come to life. You'll be able to see it. Yeah. I learned a heck of a lot. It's a fantastic company. Really glad to have worked there. Really glad to have left. So I hold it in high standard, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have worked there. And that's where my like strong, grounded, traditional, puristic branding comes from. People think branding is, okay, let's do a logo and slap some color on it and hey, we have a brand. It's not. There's actually a lot more consumer insight that goes into it. And I help people build brands. I'm really successful at it so far anyway, 100% success so far. But people just don't know how to build a brand. And the thing is that oftentimes they look at the brand or the business that they're in just today, but you have to build for the future and the extensions. Yeah. When you build a strategy, it not only acts as direction for you, but it also acts as a litmus test to make sure that whatever you're doing is on strategy. So I just love it. And it's something that people can get scared of, and there's no reason. It can be pretty phenomenal.
Beautiful. I love it. So Procter & Gamble was the breeding ground. Awesome.
Yeah. And I went to Kellogg's and then RBC. I mean, there was a lot. And then all the other companies I've worked with, phenomenal. Yeah. A lot of work though.
Yeah, in a very crowded marketplace in multiple industries, what strategies do you use to ensure a brand stands out and resonates with its target audience?
I think that's a loaded question because it really depends on the situation of the market, the competitors, the environment that we're in. But for me, I think of this more from an innovation perspective. And if you're going to be launching something, if you're going to be launching a brand, if you're going to be having a brand, really the only way to stand out is you got to be first in market. You got to do it really a lot better than somebody else, or you have to say it much louder. So those are really the three options. And those are the ones that I would concentrate on. So either you got to be first in market, you got to be better than the competition, or you got to say it the loudest. I haven't seen any other strategies that work other than those three. It's very simple.
And that's, we tend to overcomplicate things because we're humans, and that's what we do. As we've said, constantly throughout this conversation, we
Yes.
create the problems that aren't there. We
Yeah.
make things a lot harder than they actually are.
Yeah, we do.
Overcomplicate. Yeah, for sure. How do you develop a compelling brand identity that authentically reflects the values and missions of a business?
I work a lot on building brand strategies. It's actually like pieces of a strategy that are written. First, you would have the target and being really clear about who your target is, both demographically and psychographically. And there's a whole process for how you actually develop a really strong target. Then I would develop what is the intangible benefit that you provide, your service, your business, whatever it is. And it's never about the features. It's always about, if you look at McDonald's, like they're not in the business of flipping burgers. They're in the business of putting a smile on your face, right? Disney's motto is, we want to give you an experience so great that you come back and bring a friend.
Right.
As an example. American Express, don't leave home without us, right? Like those slogans come from brand strategies. So, the intangible is what you're looking for. So a brand is a relationship. When you come across this brand, what are you going to feel? Like what are the memories it's going to create for you? Then there's a section that talks about all the reasons to believe in that brand, which are the tangible benefits, the tangible features. So what is going to, let's say I'm going to make you feel happy. It's a very simplistic, and that's not the word that I would ever use, because it could mean so many different things. But, what are the things that I could do on my brand that are going to make you believe that I'm going to create happiness for you? And then you have the brand character, which are generally like the descriptors of how you want the brand to come across. Intriguing is very different than audacious. So you just have to be really clear. And then you have whatever your unique selling proposition is or your focus of sale is. And that, to me, has to be the bare minimum of what a brand strategy should be. And that's what I develop for people, or help them develop.
Beautiful. Thank you for clarifying that. Again, it's fairly simple when you think about it. It's just, again, thinking smarter. Use your brain. Think about things.
This will require thinking. There's no question.
Yeah.
Because that thinking will so pay off. Never failed me. It's worth, if you're going to spend the time and money, spend it on that. The execution is not the hard part. Like, you can find a lot of people to execute, but the people who help you think through things, hard to find.
Yes, for sure. What excites, lights you up, or inspires you the most about the work you do?
Like everybody else, I would probably say the ability to make a difference. And it sounds so generic, but that is really, I don't want the glory. I just want to be the guide.
Yeah.
I'm a very simple person, but I am fiercely loyal and fiercely dedicated and committed to getting great results. It doesn't have to be just business either.
Yeah. How would you describe your leadership style, and how has it evolved throughout your career, would you say?
I live in humor. I love humor.
Which is very important.
It sounds funny to say.
People are too fucking serious all the time.
Yeah, I know. Lighten up. And I sometimes
life's not that serious.
I just look at people and I go, really? Really? That's what's important to you? And people think they're in like these really high positions, and oh my God. Like
self-importance, I believe that's called.
Yeah. So for me, my style is very thoughtful, thought-provoked, very real, very collaborative. I would say I'm very much more of a visionary than I am necessarily a CEO. I can do the CEO portion, but I think there's people better than me, and I don't know that I want to do that necessarily. So I would say seeing into the future is really big. Yeah. So not just building for today.
Yeah. How has your journey as a business and brand builder influenced your growth as a business owner and brand builder yourself?
Work in progress.
We are always in progress.
I'm always a work in progress. I work on my brand probably every day. Not that I change it, but I think of how do I want to develop this thing that's going to make a difference, that's going to have a bigger impact.
Constantly tending to that, like a garden, constantly caring, watering.
Nurturing it.
That's what we have to do. Yeah, for sure. I want to jump in here and discuss your TEDx experience, your talk, that whole thing. Now, of course, getting a TEDx talk is a big dream for a lot of people, a goal for a lot of people. Was that something that was a bucket list item for you?
No, it wasn't a bucket list item. It was, I thought it'd be really cool to do, but it wasn't a bucket list item. Yeah, but I think it adds a certain amount of credibility, and that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, can you share a little bit about the talk that you did? I know you briefly mentioned it here in our interview, but can you share a little bit more about the talk, the title, subject matter of your big idea, and the inspiration behind writing the talk?
Yeah, so I was offered the spot in January, and then I had my hospital stint and with the coma. And 3 days after I came out of that, I ended up doing my TEDx talk. So it was
talk about resilience.
Yeah, it's crazy. But for me, what was the question again? I'm telling you, my mind goes so fast. Like I think about the TEDx talk. Okay, sorry, I got it. So the talk was called "The One Skill That Has the Power to Change Everything." Okay. And there are many skills that were never taught in school. Things like mental resilience or coping skills, financial literacy, mindfulness.
That's a whole other podcast episode, Wanda.
I know. But the one thing that I honestly felt that has the power to change everything is creative problem solving. It's the one skill that is involved in everything that you do, every single thing at every single moment. So I talk about that a lot. And in terms of problem solving, it's funny because you're actually not solving for the problem, you're solving for the outcome. I used my medical case as an example for 3 principles of creative problem solving that I was so impressed with. The first was solving for the outcome and not the problem. The second was always living in a state of curiosity. Always be curious. It becomes a superpower and it becomes strategic. And the third thing, which is really hard for a lot of people, even though they will never admit it, is intellectual humility. And that to me is just such a beautiful concept, because to recognize that you don't know everything and that so many people that can add value in so many ways and from so many different backgrounds is phenomenal. And you have to understand, like, surgeons are probably some of the most opinionated, and
God complex comes to mind when I think of medical, like doctors and surgeons.
I have to tell you, everybody in my family is a surgeon. Okay. Like broader family. I thought, like, I wanted to be a lounge singer, not the same aspirations.
No, definitely not. But just as fulfilling.
Yeah. Just as fulfilling. Now, anyway, so we kind of went down that route about those 3 principles, but it was, I had hundreds of people working on me. I had my ICU team was like a team of 10 specialists. I had one-on-one nurse. I had an amazing husband who was my advocate and my thoughts. And I had an incredible journey of friends and family and love. And from all corners of the world, I was just blown away. I'm still blown away. It's still happening today. Yeah. And I think to myself, this has to be shared. We need to do more of this for each other, not comas, actually supporting each other in some ways. And so that's really what I talked about. Yeah. I talked about, you think you're solving for something, yet you're on the precipice of looking down and it's all illusions. You don't know what the heck you're doing, honestly. You have to step back and say, this is what I want to achieve, and then figure out how you get there. And there's a lot of ways to get there.
For sure. Yeah.
The amazing thing about it is that you create choices for yourselves that you never knew existed. That's the really important part, I think.
Beautiful. Now, as mentioned off the top, you are a best-selling author. I'd love for you to speak a little bit about the books you've written or contributed to. I don't know if I know you've contributed to multi-author books, and I'm pretty sure you've written your own, right?
I'm writing about 8 of my own. And, there are 5 are ready to, no, there's 5 are ready to go that are on my own. And then there's 2 more that are ready that are collaborative.
Okay.
One that became a bestseller was back in November of 2021. It was an anthology, but it was about success mindsets. And I actually have a model that I've developed in terms of success that is self-perpetuating and never-ending. So there's no reason why each of us can't be successful. There's just no reason.
Agreed. 1,000%. There is more than enough to go around for everybody.
Yeah. So that's really what the model is about. And helping people move through that model, because all of a sudden you realize, wow, this is pretty cool. My issue was that they asked me, like, what was the big turning point in your life that changed everything? I got nothing. Like I hadn't gone through some major incident, but then I had everything because it was all about my background.
Yeah.
What I grew up with. And we all have that. So
For sure.
we can
That shapes us.
Mm-hmm. And if we leverage that, people didn't realize they can, it's a life changer.
You said earlier you mentioned you're putting one of your books out this year, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Should be coming out soon. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's the title of that one, and what's the theme of that one?
Might.
That one? Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Might.
Yeah. Okay. And that'll be out later this year.
Yeah. Just a little bit later. Yeah. It was supposed to be out in May, but things happened. So
yes. Life happened.
Working on it.
Beautiful. Do you have any idea when roughly it'll be out?
If I can get it published, I'm about 90% done with the writing, if not 95%. And so probably in a couple of months, I would say. I would like to have it happen sooner, but certainly before the posse launches.
Yes.
So.
We'll put that out to the universe right now. So in the next couple of months, it will be on the bookshelves.
Yes. I certainly hope so.
Yes. I'm putting it out there too. I'm rooting for you and pulling for you.
Thank you.
What is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Always being curious completely changed my life. And it changed my life in the adult context in the sense that it was very recent. When I changed my life, my mind to think always be curious, so many negative things went away. So when you're curious, you don't look at things as, oh my God, it's going to be boring. I wonder what this is going to be about. I wonder how good it's going to be. I wonder who's going to be talking about it. I wonder what they're going to be talking about. If you're going to a lecture or, listening to a podcast or let's say you're in an argument with someone or a discussion with someone and you have very different points of view and it's almost antagonistic. It's better to stop and say to the person, hey, you know what? Never thought of it that way. Why do you say that? I'm just really curious.
Where does that come from? Yeah.
And
where did that
all of a sudden it changes everything. It changes the relationship. I just never get angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no expectations, so I never get disappointed. But
there you go.
I'm just always curious, just staying curious. Yeah. That's how I live my life.
Live in wonder.
Yeah. Completely changed. I mean, to me, like little kids and Einstein are like my heroes, Yeah. So.
Absolutely. The kids live in wonder. That's the space they live in. And it's a great space for sure.
Yeah.
Always be asking questions.
Yeah.
You want to learn, ask questions.
Yeah.
How we learn. Why? Why this? Okay, but why that? Okay, why? Always ask. What's an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for?
Unexpected. You never know how your kids are going to turn out. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Grateful for the parents that I've had. Grateful for all the things that were not successful for me. Grateful for all the stumbling blocks that I've had in life. And I've had many. People say, you got to fail fast. It doesn't have to be a prerequisite, but I think you have to experience life as much as you can. And I'm a risk taker. That's why I get injured all the time. And literally I've been injured a lot, but it doesn't stop me. It's just, I think you have to put yourself out there. Otherwise you don't know how good you're going to be.
For sure. Agreed.
I've had opportunities to do that. And sometimes it's been good and sometimes it's been not so good. So
it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. So I think the tough spots have been an unexpected blessing.
Yeah. What challenge in your life has shaped you the most, would you say?
Recognizing that I'm like a lot of the people I want to work with, being a restless outlier. That's what I would say.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Curiosity. I do think that's my superpower.
I see a theme here.
Yeah. And the other thing is that people often ask me, do you believe that everything happens for a reason? And I don't. But what I do believe is that everything that does happen, make sure it has a purpose. Otherwise, it would have happened in vain. And that's really tragic. So just make sure whatever happens has a purpose and do good by it. But the one big thing for me, the distinction about living life of purpose or like I really live by the word deliberate. What I do is deliberate. And because when you're deliberate, you're in control. You're making a choice. you're taking action. There's so many things about the word that's such a strong word. So I would say commitment and humor are probably the next two that I feel very strongly about, but living a life in curiosity is by far the one for me.
Yeah. Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does the word success mean to you?
I have no idea, in the sense that I think it's very different for each person, and everything is cyclical. So you will go through success, and then you'll go through success, and then you'll go through success, and each success is different. So I don't want to put any kind of expectation on it, because I think that's almost limiting. And
what does the word empowerment mean to you?
I think of this groundswell of energy that we can either feel ourselves, because you can empower yourself to do something, or that we can give to others. It's this beautiful rush from here.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm afraid of it.
You got this. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm right here with you. No reason to be afraid.
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Curious.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Can I say the same thing?
Yeah, of course. You can say whatever you want. It's your show.
to live in curiosity.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
I'm not very good at it, so I'm trying to think of reading.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
That's a really tough one. Making an impact, having people recognize the importance of what I'm teaching, but it's not about self-serving. It's about them seeing success.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Curiosity.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
My mind is always going, and I'm very interested in almost everything. So just like I'm interested in talking to people about what they're doing, or having a conversation with you, or learning how things work about nutrition and health. Like, I'm just very interested in life.
And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. See, you did good. So I threw in a bonus question that you did not see. I created it after I sent you the questions. So if other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Curious. Surprise.
Yeah.
Deliberate. Profoundly humorous. Or profound, I should say.
Okay. What is your why?
Leaving the world in a better place than when I came into it.
If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Gosh, that's tough, because you've asked a lot of questions. How do you hold it all together?
To answer your question.
It's not easy. There are lots of ups and downs, but my attitude, I believe in mind over matter a lot. So I'm super positive. I'm super strong. I don't intend to change that ever. And I surround myself with really positive energy, and I specifically repel the negative. I won't go there. Just not me.
Beautiful. I love it. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
You know what? That is a really hard question. I honestly don't know. I mean, I would love to speak to Hillary Clinton, because I wasn't sure if you meant dead or alive.
Dead or alive, or doesn't matter. Your choice. Dealer's choice.
I think she's one pretty amazing lady. I think she's accomplished a lot. I'm probably really dividing the group that's listening to this, but she's just one person that I think has been extremely resilient, and I admire that. I don't have to like all of her decisions, but her intention and her resilience has been really amazing, I think. The other person I was actually thinking of is Einstein's mom.
That's an interesting one.
Because she went through a lot about how he wasn't up to snuff in his grades, but she always told him that he was special, and they had to go to a different school because of that. Later on in life, he found the letter from the school that said, your child will never amount to anything. And so it's a pretty remarkable story. So she's one person that I think I thought of.
That's a very interesting choice. Very intriguing. I love that.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Stay curious.
Of course.
There's a theme here.
Yeah, there is a very
clear curiosity is it, man. Trust me. You got to trust me on this.
I trust you. Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
It's going to sound like a broken record. Stay curious, live deliberately, always laugh, stay committed.
Beautiful. What a wonderful way to end the interview. Vandana, thank you so much for an incredible interview. It's been a blast, as it always is. Every time we talk, it's always a great conversation. I always laugh and have fun. So thank you so much for bringing your humor, your wisdom, your knowledge to the conversation. It's been absolutely wonderful speaking with you. Thank you for taking and making the time to be here with me today and sharing a little bit about your story, your journey, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. Keep shining that bright, beautiful light. Keep being amazing. And I am honored to have you as a friend and as a member of the Empowerography community.
Thank you so much. You know I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Vandana Puranik. She is a Thinkfluencer. I love that term. A brand and business builder, a TEDx and international speaker, and a best-selling author. Thank you so much, Vandana. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.